everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas Reppin 52, Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens.
As always, on the other half, Brendan Reppin 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys this week. We know we weren't around last week. We're just kind of letting some of the news build up, making sure we have plenty to talk to you about. We are still in the midst of the NHL and NBA playoffs, so we are going to talk both of them. Of course, the NFL in the midst of their off-season programs, and the June 1st deadline just happening. We're going to talk some breaking news around the league, as well as both the Ravens and the Seahawks, as always, and any other sports that we've been watching. And just get caught up with y'all. So let's kick it off with the NHL.
Yeah, so there is one piece of news in the NHL to quickly get to, and that is involving our favorite team, actually, the Colorado Avalanche. Their general manager, Chris McFarland, has been hired by the Nashville Predators to be their general manager and president of hockey operations. With the Avalanche, he was their general manager only. He did not have that president of hockey attached to it. So this is actually a promotion. He is now the head of pretty much the Nashville Predators. He's going to be reporting directly to ownership, whereas with the Avalanche, he was technically second in line, with Joe Sakic being the president of hockey operations. All that the Avs are going to do is make Joe Sakic the GM again, which he was for a very long time, prior to McFarland getting that promotion to GM. So congrats to him. Pretty cool opportunity for McFarland. And unlike some organizations, the Avalanche are willing to let their people explore new opportunities. Yep. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, look, he was Sakic's kind of predecessor. Sakic was his mentor for several years before he took on the general manager position. This is really his chance to go to a new team, expand his horizon. Happy for him. I do believe, I'm not worried about the Avs. They have been in good hands for a really long time. I believe Joe Sakic will probably remain the GM for this year, while they put in a genuine, thorough search for someone to take that role from him. And he can just be president of operations like he has been for the last couple. So, happy for him. We're going to talk about the way the Avs season ended, but he's built a really great roster, and I think he'll do well in Nashville.
Yep. And as we said, we're going to talk about how the Avalanche season ends, which was a train wreck.
Train wreck. Fucking disaster.
Because the last time we talked to you, that series just started, and Vegas had a one-game series lead. Well, we were talking about how we didn't think this series was going to be a short one. It turns out the Avs sucked, and the Vegas swept them, is really, really the moral of the story. Simply, the Avs did not play good enough, and Vegas did. There was some injury things with the Avalanche that did not help, but at the end of the day, you cannot blame injuries for that. Whatever
not
that
when
was.
You get swept like that, and you were top of the league all year. This was disappointing. It was hard to watch. It was confusing to watch. The Avs seemed tired and slow and just like they had no business competing with the Knights, is what that entire series felt like.
Yeah, which, again, super weird. The President's Trophy curse continues. It has been a long time since a team that has won the President's Trophy has then gone on to win the Stanley Cup. So that curse continues. And then on the other side, in the Eastern Conference, the curse of Canadian teams also continues.
It does.
as the Montreal Canadiens were eliminated by the Carolina Hurricanes 4-1. So neither series was very competitive.
Or at all what I expected. I
Nope.
really thought that would be a close one too.
Nope.
I vastly underestimated Carolina in that series, apparently.
I think we've vastly underestimated Carolina, period. As
That's
they've
fair.
gone through the playoffs and have one loss the entire playoff.
Yeah.
So
Yep, that's valid. That's valid.
Sorry, Carolina. My bad.
Yeah, our apologies. We
Didn't realize you were like that.
recognize the fault in our statement.
To be fair, they were the best team in the East for most of the season, and were the second best team in the NHL. So,
And
I
that's
guess
fair,
that's on us.
Right? It's valid. I was just looking at the landscape of the East.
Yeah.
And I did say I thought whoever came out of the West was going to win the series. We will now see if that remains true.
Will definitely be interesting because
hopefully a good series. Hopefully, hockey final would love 7. Honestly,
would love 7. And then for those of you that need catching up, the NHL championship is going to be between Carolina and Vegas, with Game 1 happening tonight at 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 Eastern. Could not think of the time.
Yeah, it's cool. You're getting there.
8 Eastern. So in Carolina. So it should be really cool. Probably give that a watch once we're off of here. But yeah.
Heck yeah.
So Game 1 tonight.
Nice. Well, I do believe that does it for hockey. The other playoff final that has been set is the NBA.
Yes, and then just a bit of catch-up news. There's one thing, and that is, we talked about the Orlando Magic firing their head coach. Well, they just hired a new one. They are hiring San Antonio Spurs associate coach Sean Sweeney. Have no idea who this guy really is. He's an assistant for the Spurs, who are obviously a very good team right now. So maybe not the worst thing, but I think this is his first time being a head coach. So we'll kind of see how it goes for him in Orlando.
Nice. Congratulations.
Speaking
and good luck
of the San Antonio Spurs, their series against the Oklahoma City Thunder was a fantastic series. Went to Game 7, and the Spurs win Game 7 on the road to eliminate the number 1 team in the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder. So there will not be a repeat winner, which has been a very consistent theme in the NBA for the past.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
I want to say it's at least this decade, probably a little more. I can't remember.
At least 10 years. At least.
No, because I think it would be 8, because I think the Warriors went back to back in like 2018. 2017, 2018, I think. But still, almost a decade. So yeah, no repeat winner. And in that time, we have not had
2017, 2018 for the Warriors.
So yeah,
was the last time.
8 years. And in that time, we also have not had a repeat conference champion, as the New York Knicks swept the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference 4-0. Just complete domination on the side of the Knicks. So 2 new conference winners again. It is really cool to see the NBA have this much parity. When you get to have different conference winners pretty much every year, and then different champions every year, is really entertaining. It does make the sport better, in my opinion, to not have consistent
repeat winners all the time. Yeah. Look, the Cavaliers-Knicks series went about how I expected it. I'm excited to see the Knicks in the finals. I thought last year they were going to make a pretty deep run. It was cut short. I think they've played great basketball at really the right times. So this is really exciting. As for the Thunder Spurs series, this is really interesting. This is actually the first time the repeat champion made a game 7 of the conference final and lost.
Interesting.
Game 6 of this series kind of told you what was going to happen. The Thunder were demolished in 6 and in 7. They didn't play well from anybody, honestly. I think Wemby has played his best ball in the playoffs. The Spurs are playing really cohesively. They're playing great defensively and offensively. I think this is going to be a really fun series. This is another one I'm really hoping is going to go 7.
Yeah.
Don't have a dog in the fight. I think both are, like you've said, they're first-time champions, first-time conference champions. They're great stories regardless. You've got Wemby making his first finals appearance. You've got Brunson making his. Yep. I'm sorry, not Brunson. Brunson making his first finals. It's just going to be great basketball.
Yeah, it should be really entertaining. Game 1 is tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern, in San Antonio. So we'll get the kickoff to the series tomorrow. Should be great. If I had to pick, I'd probably take San Antonio in 7, but this is going to be a really good series.
Then to keep it fun, I will take the Knicks. I'm going to still say 7.
Nice. Again, no dog in the fight, so I don't really care who wins. No. I'd be all right.
I'll be just as happy if the Spurs win as the Knicks, but if you're going to take the Spurs, we'll keep it interesting, and I'll take the Knicks.
There you go.
Alrighty. Well, I do believe that does it for the NBA, and we will move on to football.
Yeah, so we got quite a bit of breaking news. And we normally like to do breaking news in order of when it came out. This week, we're going to do a little different. We're going to save the news. If you've been living under a rock, you'll find out. But the news till the end. So
Lots to talk about there.
Yeah, so we'll start. The Chargers have agreed a extension with Derwin James, the safety, to make him the NFL's highest paid safety. It's a 3-year, $75.6 million deal. So huge extension for one of the best safeties in the league, in Derwin James.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. It's a good contract. Might be a slight overpay, but he is a great safety. So
at this point,
Chargers can do what they want.
Pretty much. Next is probably not the biggest news on the planet, but it is kind of cool, and that is the Giants have signed wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Now, let's be honest, Odell is probably not the Odell he used to be with the Giants, but it is cool that he's going back there for at least one more season, get to hang it up as a Giant.
And the last team he genuinely played on and saw time on the field with was the Ravens. So he gets back with Harbaugh. I think that was a good relationship. It was a positive relationship. Because he went to the Dolphins for a year, but he never played.
I just honestly forgot he was a Raven at one point, and spaced that he and Harbaugh were together at any point.
So yeah, I think it's cool that he's going back to be a Giant. Do I think he'll see the field a lot? No, I think this is a 1-2 year deal to retire on and call it quits. Great wide receiver. Unfortunately,
injuries and
health does not match his talent and his drive, and it's very unfortunate because of the talent he has. It's just a reality.
Yes. Next is another Giant. This time it is Russell Wilson has accepted an offer to join CBS Sports on their Sunday pregame show. He has not officially announced his retirement, but this is essentially him stepping away from the game. He did not have any offers to start, shock, but there was offers for him to be a backup. So he chose this over that. I do think this is essentially him retiring, but there's always room for him to come back, as we saw with Philip Rivers. So technically not official, but
yeah. Look, I do not think he is a starter in this league anymore. I do think he can be a good backup, a good mentor in the room. But when you have an offer, especially as a quarterback, to begin kind of your TV career, that's a lot of times the next step. So congratulations to him. I will watch it. Feel like it's going to be really boring, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see. The thing is,
it's either boring or weird.
It will depend. Everything you know about Russell Wilson is in media and especially in media, is he never spoke his mind. He never actually said what he was thinking. He was very well trained and very well conditioned for media. So if he decides to let his guard down and actually speak what he thinks and what he wants to, it could be more interesting. If he is just a robot,
if he is the Russell Wilson of old, it's
going to be a little boring, maybe a little cringy. It will all depend on what he decides.
See how quickly he finds a catchphrase. That'll be fun.
Probably pretty quick. I think he's already got it locked and loaded for his first day.
So yeah, congratulations to him. It will be interesting to see what he makes of it.
Yes. Next is the NFL has informed teams that the cut down to 53 will be the Sunday after preseason, so Sunday the 30th, August 30th, not the Tuesday following. This is a not huge change, but an interesting change of there is now more time between the start of the season when you're supposed to so you have the cut down and then an extended gap between that and the start of the season. This is a little more interesting. It does give teams a chance, I think more of a chance to really take the risk on waiver claims because you have a bit of a buffer to try to get those players up to speed and maybe actually get them to contribute earlier on in the season, as most waiver claims you don't see actually contribute until the first couple weeks. So this is an interesting decision. I really don't think it matters very much in the grand scheme of things. It is just kind of interesting.
It does, tighten the belt a little bit on when teams have to have that decision made. But it will be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah. And then we have two extensions, first of which is edge rusher Nick Herbig, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have agreed on a 4-year, $100 million extension with $42 million guaranteed. So he's getting a 25 APY big extension for a Pittsburgh Steelers edge. Not surprising, as they have the highest paid edge room in the league. And it's just got
everyone's kind of freaking out right now, trying to lock down their edge rushers.
Pretty much.
Yeah, look, he's good. They have they have the most expensive defense in the NFL. They have the most expensive edge room. Good luck.
We'll see what happens. And then the next one is the Atlanta Falcons have signed wide receiver Drake London to a huge 4-year, $141 million extension with $100 million guaranteed. That makes him the third highest paid wide receiver, and I believe second in terms of guaranteed money. I could be wrong on that. He could be third
Okay.
and fourth. I cannot remember now. But
Gotcha.
one of the highest paid, huge contracts. Maybe a little bit of an overpay, but I do think Drake London is a really good receiver, assuming you actually put a quarterback for him to catch the ball from.
Yeah, he's a great wide receiver. Needs a competent quarterback. So
Yeah. All right.
I'm not convinced they have one in the room.
Speaking of great wide receivers with possibly not the most competent quarterbacks, a trade that pretty much everybody knew was going to happen. Like, this has been a thing for the past, 2 months since the draft. And that is the Eagles have traded A.J. Brown to the Patriots in exchange for a 2028 first round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. Again, everybody knew this was going to happen. The Eagles made it very clear that he was not going to be part of the plan. And everybody knew he was going to want to go to the Patriots because of Vrabel.
Yeah. And the Patriots were the team he grew up rooting for. So no one's shocked by this. This is where he wanted to be.
Now, a couple things. One, he did get a first round pick. It is just interesting that it's a first round pick in 2 years. I do think that tells you more about how teams feel about the next year, or the 2027 draft. It is supposed to be one of the best drafts in a long, long time. I don't really like using the word generational, but we're looking like it's going to be. The amount of talent that is going to come out in 2027 is insane. So I do think that is part of the reason it was just a 2028 first round pick. The other thing is that this kind of confirms that Vrabel isn't going anywhere. Now, I don't think that was ever going to happen, but there was a discussion on whether it could happen. I think with this move, it is pretty much confirmed it's not going to. So, those are my takeaways.
Yeah. I don't think he's going anywhere. I didn't think he was going anywhere. I understood where that thought process was coming from. There were some kind of funny things on X and different that, this was not the biggest news of the day. And even when it was news, it still was not the most interesting part about it. Right, we've chosen not to comment on the situation. We're going to keep it that way. But this was the right move, and this was the time. Whether you believe in the Eagles or Jalen Hurts or whatever, he was not contributing on this team the way he could and the way he should. I do think the Patriots is a great fit for him. He and Vrabel have a long history, and I think with Diggs currently no longer on the team, having a reliable number one wide receiver he can go to is going to be great for Drake May and for the Patriots.
I think this is a win for all parties.
This is an absolute win for everybody. We will see what the Eagles look like next year, but this is a win.
Yeah, it's a win for all.
And I will just agree with you on the 2027 draft. Sure.
It's going to be pretty good. There's a reason you didn't see a ton of picks from the 2027 draft traded in the last draft, and you haven't seen it very much right now. Most of them are 2028s or were last year's. It's because everybody kind of realizes that this is a draft you want to be picking in.
Fair enough.
All right. Now for the big news of yesterday. Something that nobody thought was ever going to happen. Well, I shouldn't say ever, but didn't think it was going to happen yesterday.
Didn't think it was going to happen.
And that is the Browns have traded Myles Garrett to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Jared Verse, a 2027 first-round pick, a 2028 second-round pick, and a 2029 third-round pick. One of the best players in the NFL just got traded to the Rams, who already have the MVP of the league, the runner-up in Offensive Player of the Year, and now the Defensive Player of the Year. So that's just fucking fantastic. Just all that just to beat Sam Darnold. All that. And you still couldn't beat Sam Darnold.
So, for an analytical kind of perspective, I think it puts the Ty Simpson draft pick into a more reasonable category.
Yes. I actually agree.
I believe at this point that they knew then they were going to make a heavy play for Myles Garrett. It sounds like this conversation's been going on a very long time. Jared Verse is kind of what inked in the final deal.
Yes. So, based on what I was hearing, the first deal was supposed to be, I want to say, it was Byron Young, 2 first-round picks, so 2027 and 2028, and then I think like that third rounder or something. It could have just been those 2 firsts and Byron Young. Obviously, the Browns wanted more. I get that. But once Jared Verse was added, they were more willing to take maybe less draft compensation because they're getting a young player with multiple years of cost control. And I've seen a lot of people saying Myles Garrett got traded for less firsts than Sauce Gardner. And technically, yes, that is true. But also, if you were to trade Jared Verse, like if the Rams just decided we don't want him anymore, we're going to trade him, he himself would have gone for 2 first-round picks. Yeah. So you have to think about it that way. Of Jared Verse essentially equates to at least a first-round pick, probably more.
If not 2. Yeah. No, I don't think that's a valid comparison in the slightest. From, for the Rams part, I do think it makes the Ty Simpson draft more explained better, especially when you expect to be vying for a Super Bowl next year. You're not going to be able to draft a quarterback. This is someone you think Sean McVay can mold. You went and got your defensive player.
I still don't love taking a player that doesn't belong at 13th overall, but...
And that's fair.
I think...
Probably could have moved down, but
to me, that's still the issue with it. Like, had you taken Ty Simpson at the end of the first round, I don't think I would be as negative as a whole now on the pick. But
at this point,
I still don't think it was a good pick.
What you're doing, I can move on with it.
At this point, I now understand it. I do still think it was a bad selection because it was a heavy, heavy overdraft, in my opinion.
Probably,
but
don't care. Whether you drafted him at 13 or you traded back into the first round, you took the guy, you moved on.
And that's fair. I think this trade here makes it better. I still just don't think it was a good pick. Because of this trade,
I no longer care. From the Browns' perspective, it pains me to say this, but finally someone did the smart thing.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
I am so tired of watching shitty teams hold on to their superstar player like that's the hill they're gonna die on.
When they're not close.
Trade him and get better. They did that. It took a long time. I think Garrett did not make it easy on you, and that's part of where this decision came from. But you got a lot of picks, a young, really talented guy on a rookie contract that now you can build from. Do I think you're going to see that payout this year?
No.
Absolutely not. Your team arguably only got worse. But to not be saddled with his cap and his contract, and to not be and to have extra picks is only a good thing for a bad franchise. So, as for winners and losers of this situation, winners are Myles Garrett and the Rams.
Yes.
Winners also include the Baltimore Ravens.
And the literally entirety of the AFC North.
Well, not the Browns just yet. Like, yes, but this is great for the North. For Lamar Jackson to only have to face in his division now JJ Watt.
TJ, but yes.
I'm sorry, TJ Watt. I'm so very fucking excited. Trey Hendrickson is now a Raven. And Myles Garrett done fucked off to the NFC. So I'm very excited.
But they didn't have to send him to the Rams.
No, and I do understand that. And we're going to talk about you and your opinion in a second.
Mainly because I know the Seahawks put an offer in. It's been confirmed they put an offer in. The problem was they don't have fucking Jared Verse. And they weren't willing to part with their Jared Verse level player. And I don't blame them, but I also don't.
I don't blame them.
But
this is great for Lamar. It's great for the Ravens. Do I think it benefits the other teams in the North?
Yes.
Yes, a little bit. Joe Burrow historically does not play well against his division regardless. How much Myles Garrett will have an impact on that, I'm not sure yet. As for the Steelers, Myles Garrett has one of his worst performances against the Steelers historically anyway. It's the one team that does a better job of holding him off. So we'll see how they're all impacted. But for Lamar Jackson, this is great. So I had a great take.
I did not. For anyone wondering.
No.
I'm going to be honest. I saw the news.
Do you think your O-line can hold off Myles Garrett?
So I want to say yes, because I actually have seen it happen.
Okay.
In 2023, the Seahawks played the Browns. And now, all things considered, Charles Cross did a really good job against Myles Garrett. Now, Myles Garrett did still have a sack, but at the end of the day, it's Myles Garrett. There's only so much you're going to be able to do. But he held Myles Garrett to 1 sack, 0 pressures, and 1 quarterback hit. And the 1 quarterback hit was the sack.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, if that's the stat sheet you can hold Myles Garrett to, I think that's a win.
You'll take it.
Because it's Myles Garrett. And he just set the sack record. And is one of the most dominant players in the NFL. So there is reason to be like, yes. But also, it's Myles Garrett.
It will be interesting to see which version of Garrett we get. Because he is a very talented player. There's nothing to dispute that.
Okay,
But he is also hold on, I'm not done.
Yeah, you can finish.
He's a talented player on a shitty team. And he has been for his entire career.
And
so all we've ever focused on is the greatness he has. He's never had quite the spotlight. He's never had quite the scrutiny that's going to come with being on the Rams.
And here's why I disagree with that kind of notion. Because he was on a shit team, his double team rate is unfucking real. He's doubled on almost I don't even remember now, but it was stupid to look at how often he gets double teamed. It's over 50% of his snaps is a double team. And he still set the sack record.
Here's my thing. I'm not saying he's gonna fall off. I just want to know what version. If it's consistent, if it's flat, right? If he stays
I think
the
he
same,
gets better, which is weird to
you
say.
think because they can't double team him because there are other people
Not
on that D
yes,
line.
because they have Kobe Turner, Braden Fisk, Byron Young. It would be much worse if, like, when originally I thought this trade was going to happen, in like a week ago, there was general like really big like smoke in terms of he was going to get traded. Most people thought they were going to pair him and Verse
And
together.
verse.
That would have been worse. But yeah, I think even with that, like Kobe Turner is still a good pass rusher. He still had like 8 sacks last season. It might have been 6. It might have been 8 the previous season, 6 last season. This is the best defensive line Myles Garrett is going to play for. You can still double him 50% of the time, but when you double him 50% of the time, other people are
Someone
actually
else is gonna
going to
get done.
finish the job.
And that's what I'm saying. Is again, I don't think it's a comment on his talent or his work ethic. I'm just intrigued of what we're gonna get from him because of that situation.
I think
Because he's on a better team, do we see his stats go up? Do they fall down?
the
Because
only
again,
reason
other people are there,
the
or
only
do they stay
reason
the same?
I think it could go down, there's one argument I could hear for his actual stats will drop off a little bit, and that is because he's actually going to have an offense to keep him off the field.
That's fair.
That is the only argument that I can sit there and go, he's not gonna have the opportunities he did with Cleveland in terms of
And
like sheer amount of snaps.
All I'm saying is just because it's a better team.
Now, I don't think.
And
I
the
still think.
differences that makes.
I still think he's
Again,
going to.
I'm not saying it's about him. I'm not saying it's because of his talent or his work ethic.
I don't think the
you
fall
are
off.
on an actually good team. So what does that look like from you, stats wise? What's that now look like?
I think he's still going to be a DPOY shoe-in every year. Like, I don't think the stats are going to change very much. They might drop a little bit, but I don't think they're going to fall off that much. I think you'll have a little drop just because you're not on the field as much. But I think that's pretty much it.
I guess
we'll see. He's just one of those players. I don't think it matters. I think he's good enough that it just doesn't matter. Like, he's always going to have the stats and be that dominant. So I don't. It's like Aaron Donald.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. I think he will always be talented. What I don't know is how that talent will be reflected now.
And the reason I still think he will be is we've already seen a generational player and an all-time player on this version of the Rams, and he was still a generational player. So, like, Aaron Donald was still, even with this version of the Rams, because we saw this version of the Rams the year they won the Super Bowl, and Aaron Donald still filled the stat sheet and was still one of the best defensive players that year. So, like...
And valid.
Like, I don't see it being an issue.
Myles Garrett is not Aaron Donald.
I think he's the closest thing to Aaron Donald you've seen. Like,
I'm not saying that in terms of like he's not as good as, but they are two different people. Like, I don't know that it's going to go the exact same way.
Like, to me, it's just they're both that good and they're both that dominant that I don't see an issue. I
didn't say there was an issue.
I'm not like an issue, but I don't think there's going to be a change. You might see a slight dip, but not enough to sit there.
You want to argue a point I haven't made.
But I feel like you are.
I didn't say it was going to happen. I didn't say this is what will happen. This is Myles Garrett will now fall off.
But you're asking the question.
I'm not saying that.
You're asking the question,
yeah,
and I'm answering that it's not going to happen. I'm saying it's just not going to happen.
I don't know. We will see.
Like, you asked the question, I was just answering it.
I feel like you're arguing. Point
I'm
haven't
arguing. I know it's a point you haven't made, but I'm arguing the point I've made. That it's not going to happen.
Fair enough. I hope it does. I hope
it happens.
I hope he. That's fair.
I hope he shits the fucking bed and is the worst player on the planet.
Okay, well, I don't think you're gonna get that.
No, I'm not.
But I don't know. I think there's a chance we see a different version of him. Not less talented, not less driven. I just think we see we could see a slightly different version. And maybe that's a good thing. But maybe not. Maybe he's just Myles Garrett. He will always be Myles Garrett. I think there's enough to be like, because of these things, he will always be great, but it won't look the same.
Yeah, I don't think so, but
You
we'll see.
disagree. And we will see. Hopefully, for the Seahawks, it's not a problem.
Hopefully. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, so when I got your text right, all I saw was the what the fuck. And I was out. I didn't know. I had no idea.
The worst
And then
part.
I looked at it, and I just started laughing.
The worst part, by the way, okay? Just want to...
Okay.
Is the whole last week was all about the possibility Myles Garrett gets traded.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of reports and a lot of buzz that the Seahawks were in on it. And all I see is the notification of, like, Myles Garrett traded. And then it cuts off. And you don't see, like, the team he was traded to.
So you thought maybe.
So there was a moment of, like, oh shit, they did it.
You had your hopes up.
And then I looked at it, and it was the Rams. And that oh shit went to, you've got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
All the while, I'm at work, and that's just a whole other thing.
Nope, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I had no idea until you sent it to me. And then I was like, And I started laughing.
No, I was pissed. There was no laughing.
Because at first, I was like, that really sucks for you. And then it kind of settled in. I was like, and how great is that for me? Like, how just fantastic has this situation turned out to be?
Yeah, nope, not happy. Not thrilled. But yeah. It is what it is.
Well, I will say, for all of the noise and the things we may think may come in the future, I am very happy for Garrett. He has been a great soldier.
Yes.
He has stuck by the Browns for a really long time. He has continued to produce and be the best version of himself in spite of the lack of places it's gotten him. So to have this opportunity to go and play for a real team, a real contender, I think is great, and I am happy for him.
Yep.
Glad I don't have to deal with him anymore.
I would be more happy if you didn't go there, but whatever.
That's fair. That's valid.
I think
I would have been happy with the Seahawks too. I'm really glad he just left the AFC.
And that's fine.
Like, fuck that he left the North. He just left the entire AFC.
Here's the thing. He could have left the AFC and joined the NFC. He just didn't have to join the NFC West.
Yeah, or again, he could have gone to the Seahawks. I would have been just as happy. Just as happy.
Much more happy, but... What's sad is I was going to say it couldn't get much worse than Myles Garrett getting traded into your division. The problem is, it still can get worse. There are still things that could happen.
Like?
I don't want to say it, because I don't want to speak it into the universe.
Okay, fair enough.
But there's a certain person that could come out of retirement that would not be the most fun thing on the planet.
He has mentioned it. I know he was on Pat McAfee the other day.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I doubt it.
I don't think that'll happen. based on his responses and I believe his wife's responses, I don't think it's going to happen.
And like,
But if it
look,
did happen,
him from 5 years ago
it was
and the him
3.
now are probably different.
He retired 3 years ago.
Okay, 3 years ago, it's different.
A little bit. Not much.
Whether you stay in shape or not, you have not been playing football and getting hit for 3 years. That has
And
an impact. Everybody
does.
that retires and comes back and plays says the same fucking thing.
It does. But something tells me that, like Tom Brady, I don't think it'll matter. When Tom Brady came
Tom
back,
Brady
it didn't matter.
He didn't take that much time off.
He took like
He retired for like 100 days. He didn't even miss an off season. He missed one off season.
I still don't think it'll matter. I don't think he'll be as good
And
as
then
he
Brady
was.
played like shit that last season. They went 8-9.
And his last season, sure. Not the season that he actually came back
in. That was the season he came back in because he announced his retirement.
No,
at
not.
the end of that season.
What are you talking
like
about?
100 days later, came back.
No,
That's his only departure.
I thought he retired from the Patriots, and that's why he went to the Bucks. Or did he just get traded?
It was a free agent thing. They just weren't signing him. The Patriots thought he would retire, and he said, "Fuck you."
That's what it was. Is he was going to retire?
Didn't. It was like a full he.
Okay.
He spent.
I'm like,
he just went from one to the other.
He retired in between, but I guess it was just he was going to, and it didn't. Either way,
he retired after that second year with the Bucks.
Either way, I think he'll be worse than what he was in his prime, and I think he'll be worse than he was in his last season. But you're Aaron Donald. I don't think you're going to be that much worse.
Well, and you can't help but wonder, like, how much is it?
Like,
does it even matter? Because you will have just offensive line members that will see Aaron Donald
and go, we're fucked.
And just go, fuck.
Because here's the reason I also don't think it matters. Is Aaron Donald's whole game was just being strong as fuck. And he's still just strong as fuck. So
that's not invalid.
Like,
I don't think he's doing it.
No, I don't either.
But
it just could make my day worse.
That's fair.
Because I just don't want to have to deal with both of them.
No, that would be a bummer.
It would be mildly entertaining. Like, I would just have to accept that it's not going to happen.
Football. But
and like, I wish this happened years ago, but like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Alrighty. Well, I do believe that does it for breaking news. It was quite
eventful.
Quite the June 1st.
June 1st is pretty eventful in the NFL calendar.
Yes.
There's a reason you see trades on June 1st.
Alrighty. Well, we will move on to the Baltimore Ravens. Not a ton of news. We are going to talk one bit of news. Raymond Berry passed away, I believe, a week ago. I want to clarify something. He was a Colt, but he was a Baltimore Colt the entire time. So he was a Baltimore player. Yes, the Indianapolis Colts have retired his number, and they have a bust of him, but he was a Baltimore Colt. He played in Baltimore for his entire career. So they did put out a statement regarding his passing. It was very beautiful. They are always very respectful of those moments, and just, thoughts and feelings out with that family. Next, they've been in the midst of OTAs. As expected, Lamar Jackson was present. I think the most important part for me about his presence is not that he's there, but that Jesse Minter was accurate. There have been questions in the past about how much Lamar and Harbaugh talked. Harbaugh never seemed quite sure when Lamar would be back from injury or what that situation was. So for Minter to come out and say he'll be here in a couple days, and then a couple days later Lamar showed up, to me speaks to their relationship, the dynamic that's going to exist there, and the reliability we have from the head coach. So I respect and appreciate that. He has been present at OTAs, and therefore, of course, gave his first press conference since they lost to Pittsburgh. Because we don't know what a fucking touchdown is. Doesn't matter, it's not important. Kind of the key points to talk about. One, Lamar did say that he was dealing with a hamstring that began in their game against the Lions last year. For anyone unsure, that was week 3. So, kind of reaffirms the concerns I had, at least, about his mobility and the running and lack thereof he was doing. So no, I don't think it's him falling off. No, I don't think it's him getting older. I think he was genuinely hurt. As for contract negotiations, obviously still going on. He said he is not looking for a fully guaranteed contract. That was a 2022 situation. It is not a modern day situation or present day situation. So pretty much the most Lamar's ever mentioned about his contract. So I'm going to take it. Next, he has no intention of leaving, unsurprisingly, but he also gave the same answer every quarterback gives. He loves the city, he loves the team and the organization. Great answer. It's pretty much a standard answer, though. As for him being at OTAs, he understood and recognized how new everything was, and he wanted to be present. He wanted to make sure he got in that time with Deacon Doyle. Even though he and Deacon kind of built that offense together, he wanted to be present for it. He also did say that he did talk to Harbaugh when he took the job with the Giants, and he was shocked that he was fired, but the new system is a breath of fresh air. Everything that Bisciotti has kind of said, and Lamar said, I don't think Lamar had a hand in it, but I don't think Lamar objected to it either. I don't think Bisciotti asked for Lamar's approval or opinion, but he made sure that his quarterback wouldn't lose his fucking mind either. So, not a yes, please do that, but also a if you do that, I'll still be here. Is kind of what I think occurred at this point. Everything I'm seeing, I think as a Ravens fan, we should be really excited. The culture that's being set, the excitement, and the buy-in everybody's having. We've upgraded in a lot of places. I do think this team will get back to running more, but I think we'll see a little bit less designed runs from Lamar. Just an easier offense for him to navigate, especially with, once again, a brand new O-line. Vega's been really impressive in OTAs, but it's short, so I'm not putting much stock in that. And so far, I believe Pinter does still have the front runner for center. But we'll see. The one exciting thing that kind of happened, but again, shorts, no pads. The competition part, the be the best when the best is needed portion of practice. Their brand new punter, Ryan Eckley, had to hit a coffin corner punt, which is inside the 5-yard line near the sideline to a waiting returner, and he hit a bullseye. So that's exciting, given we went from stout to a rookie. So hopefully he's got a hell of a leg, and this is something that we can be positive about, while hoping we won't need him a whole ton. It's good to have a good one when they're needed. And I'm really appreciating this drill set and keeping that competitiveness alive and well. And then, yeah, everyone's just been really positive about the new system. All the players seem really excited, offensive and defensive. So while there's not a ton of news, I think there is a ton of growth and excitement coming out of Baltimore right now. And they no longer have to deal with Myles Garrett twice a year. So all good things. But that does it for the Ravens. So we will move on to the Seahawks.
Yeah. All right. So the Seahawks made a trade last week. They traded for a wide receiver and special teamer, Irv Charles. They acquired him from the Jets. It's a conditional 7th-round pick going the other way. Some background. In 2024, he was on track to be a Pro Bowl / All-Pro special team gunner until he tore his ACL late in the season, and then never played in 2025, rehabbing the ACL. So they're getting him in 2026. I don't think he's going to make the roster, but he's another camp body. All things considered, I don't care. It's a conditional 7th.
That's fair.
Like, my guess is the condition is him making the roster. But we don't get that information until the condition's met, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, but yeah, I don't think he's gonna make the roster. But if he does show up and proves to be a good special teamer, we know the Seahawks really do value that. It's been pretty clear that they value special teams, so we'll see. They signed their last draft pick. So now every draft pick has been signed, as they signed Jadarian Price, their first-round pick. So now every Seahawk draft pick has been signed, so that's good. I know 2 weeks ago we were talking about how he still hadn't been, and then the next week they got it done. So that's cool. Glad our draft picks are signed and ready to go. Not going to have an issue in camp. One of the more interesting pieces of news we got from last week, and that was Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter, both on the Pat McAfee show, were talking about the sale of the Seahawks, in which Ian Rappaport said that a sale is coming. Sources say there should be a special league meeting to approve a new owner in late August, if all goes well. He did not say who that owner was, what the expectations are. I find this very weird for 2 reasons. Reason 1, prior to that report a week ago, we had heard the interest in the Seahawks wasn't the interest in they were getting for the sale was not as expected. Now, part of that is there's just not very many people on this planet that have $10 billion just laying around.
Yeah.
So that does go into it. The second reason I think this is weird is clearly nowadays, Schefter and the insiders, so Rappaport, are very much plants that kind of just put out the information teams want them to put out at this point, teams and agents. So who in the Seahawks wanted this put out there? Because it's probably where it came from. And why was it put out there? Is it to drive the market? Or is it genuinely just to be like, hey, a sale is going to happen? Like, soon. I believe it is the first one. I think this was to kind of hopefully maybe get some people that were maybe on the fence leaning more, maybe drive up the price. I'm not sure. I will be interested to see, obviously, if that special league meeting does happen, then you pretty much know they are going to be sold. Again, I don't like the fact that we don't know who he's referring to in this moment.
Yeah.
I would kind of like to know who the owner is, or who the possible owner is.
They usually release that information, like who the bidders are.
Like,
we might not
I
know who won, but we'll know
I at
the
least know
bidders.
2, and we talked about those 2. I have not heard anything other than those 2. And that's why I'm like, I don't think it was just 2 of them that bid, or 2 groups that put out a bid. So I'm a little concerned. I don't know what the possibilities we're going to have. So we'll kind of see. There are options that are good. There are options that are bad. If this does happen in August, I would be a little worried for a couple reasons. One, I think the ownership is making this move a little too quickly. Like, I feel like there isn't much due diligence happening. If you're already to a point where you have a kind of agreed upon who you're selling to at this point, is I don't love how quickly the process is going, especially when we've seen other processes take as long as it has. But who knows? Maybe it really is just somebody came in with an offer. They really like them. They've been in sports before. Who knows? We'll kind of have to wait and see. But it is an interesting thing right now with where the Seahawks sit in terms of if new ownership is in the building prior to the season. And it does matter right now. It is limiting what they can do for extensions at the present moment. But we'll kind of get into that more in a second. So yeah, we'll see where ownership goes. Moving on. An interesting move that happened is I think I had talked about the Vikings interviewing assistant GM Nolan Teasley. Well, the Vikings have made that hire official. They are hiring Nolan Teasley as their general manager. He will be their head of football operations. That is very important to note because Nolan Teasley was a minority candidate. I believe his father is African American. So, minority candidate getting a GM role and being the head of football operations means the Seahawks will be granted 2 third-round compensatory picks. 1 in 2027, 1 in 2028. I think this is a win for the Seahawks. Nolan Teasley was really good. Great assistant general manager. Really well respected within the building. Had a lot to do with moves on bringing in Sam Darnold and a lot of the pro personnel, pro scouting, and pro acquisition side of things. So it's a loss for the Seahawks, but I do think getting extra picks does soften the blow, and it adds another person for Schneider to go to for potential trades, and it's just another connection the Seahawks are going to have to another NFL team. So this is really cool. Great opportunity for him. Someone that has spent the last 14, 13 seasons with the Seahawks. I want to say, no, 12. He joined right after they won the Super Bowl as an intern. So worked his way from intern to assistant general manager, now to general manager with the Vikings. So really cool for him. Obviously, getting those 2 extra picks is cool for the Seahawks. With that, in 2027, they will have a projected 12 picks. So really cool there. So yeah.
Congratulations to him. I'm sorry you're joining mid-off season.
Yeah,
The
it's
timing is
unfortunate.
a bit unfortunate.
On the bright side, you now don't have a ton of work to do to get ready. You just now have to kind of figure out how you want to build your
You have
team.
to build a 53-man roster.
And I think luckily for him, the Vikings, because they made this hiring now, are going to give you some time to figure this shit out. So,
And he's got really great coaches on both sides of the ball to help him.
yes. And I do know Kevin O'Connell was a big reason, or not a big reason, but was involved in this hiring. So,
That's fair. I believe that.
So hopefully there is some continuity and some work to be done there. But happy for him. Good luck in Minnesota. Next, not really breaking news, but news that I found very interesting. As we talked about, the World Cup is coming to the United States here in June. It's going to be starting here in like a week or two. Can't remember now. But either way, it's going to be starting here soon. There are playing games in Seattle at Lumen Field, the home of the Seahawks. FIFA requires team. So FIFA is, for those of you who don't know, is who runs the World Cup. It's the International Federation of Soccer. It's not actually what it is, but that's what it stands for pretty much. Their requirements is you have to have real grass. So the Lumen Field has had to replace its turf with real grass. Now, a lot of teams don't replace the field. One, because it costs a lot more upfront to change it, and then the maintenance to change it. However, FIFA is covering the upfront cost to change it because it's their requirement. They're going to actually help you fulfill that. So, I will be interested to see if Lumen Field then remains a real grass field.
I did not realize it was true for Lumen Field too, because I saw it was a big deal because MetLife is the same. MetLife is being paid by FIFA to replace their turf with real grass. And if anybody knows, MetLife is where Achilles go to die.
Where Achilles and ACLs go to die. I will be very intrigued.
Even with two teams playing out of there, we're too cheap to replace the fucking turf. So because FIFA's doing it for them, I agree. I will be intrigued to see who keeps it and who doesn't.
Mind you, this applies to any NFL stadium that they're
going to play in.
And as it stands, the ones I can remember are Lumen Field in Seattle, Arrowhead in Kansas City, MetLife in New York. I want to say there's games in Florida. I cannot remember.
Probably.
I think there are. So I think Miami's getting it. I think Dallas is getting a game. I think Georgia's getting a game. The Falcons and Mercedes-Benz Stadium is getting changed. Boston and Gillette Stadium, so the Patriots and their stadium, Gillette. Dallas and AT&T. Houston and their stadium. I already said Arrowhead. SoFi in Los Angeles is getting it. Miami, Hard Rock. MetLife. Lincoln Field in Philadelphia. And then San Francisco. So Levi Stadium. Are all getting grass if they don't already have it. And I don't know if... I think a couple of these fields already have grass. I just don't know exactly which ones. I think Dallas has grass.
Already. Well, I know Dallas, they've already hung the banner. Or the curtain. Because...
That's right.
If we remember from a couple years ago, CeeDee Lamb, I believe, complained that he missed a catch in the end zone because the way the sun hits the Dallas Stadium, there's like this open section.
Yeah.
And he couldn't see. And other players have been like, look, that it's a bitch, right? But you know it's there, especially if you play there all the time. Like, it, shut the fuck up. But it is a problem. And they have a curtain for it, they just never hang it. FIFA has made, they had to hang that curtain.
Okay. Yes. So, yeah, I will be very intrigued. I do think some teams will keep it. I hope the two teams in New York.
I very much hope they keep it. If you are gonna be like, because their only thing is like, there's no evidence, and which isn't true, by the way. And two, they didn't want to pay for it. Someone else has paid for it.
All you have to do is now pay to maintain it.
Yeah,
which is more expensive.
Pay to maintain turf.
It's more expensive than maintaining turf, but at the end of the day, really the expensive part is the replacing of it.
Yeah.
So I will be intrigued. I do know that is a thing in Seattle that players don't love about Seattle. So I wonder if this will be a thing of. Now I do want to say this. This is where ownership in the current state of it might change things for the Seahawks. I don't think ownership that's currently in place, so the Allen family, is going to want to make that change, knowing that they're not going to really see it, and then a new ownership is going to come in. But new ownership might not want that change. It's a whole thing. That is the one thing that I think could screw over that change happening, is the fact that the Seahawks are in between ownerships. And that it just isn't necessary clarity there for them. So we'll see. I hope they change it to real grass, just because I do think real grass is better and we do see less significant injuries. But Lumen Field really hasn't ever been that bad. So maybe they just take better care of their turf, or there's two types of turf, and there's one that's really bad, and that's what's in MetLife, and there's one that's less bad but still worse than actual field, and that's what's in Seattle. Just for reference. So yeah, kind of a sidetrack thing. Got sidetracked there.
I didn't quite realize the extent of teams. I'd seen it for MetLife, because MetLife is the only stadium that has the turf it has. And it is genuinely where Achilles go to die.
Yes.
So
it's a thing for all stadiums that have a World Cup game.
I didn't realize how much, and then you're right, it will be interesting to see who changes it back, who leaves it, how they handle this moving forward.
I'm kind of surprised this hasn't been a bigger story. I feel like I haven't seen it very much. But we'll see.
Yeah, for the amount of teams, I am surprised.
And for kind of the what teams it is,
undertaking, yeah,
and why it's happening, it's a little surprising. But
and then I guess they also all had to remove corporate brand logos from their stadium.
Yes, if those aren't sponsors of the World Cup, yes.
Yeah.
Because I know some of them, it doesn't matter. I know some of Seattle's sponsors do actually sponsor the World Cup, so it really didn't matter for them. But yes, some of them did have to.
So yeah, it's definitely interesting, and we'll see who does what and how quickly those decisions are made, because preseason is right around the corner. You have to decide pretty quickly what you're going to do.
And because I think the World Cup ends in August. That sounds right. So you got a quick turnaround. You got to decide if you're keeping it or leaving it. Some teams might leave it through the first week of preseason if they have it at home that first week, just to like maybe test it out, see, but we'll see.
Fair.
All right, one more piece of breaking news for the Seahawks, and that is edge rusher Derek Hall agreed an extension earlier today. It is a 3-year, $42 million deal, paying $14 million per year, with $46.5 million worth up to $46.5 million, $21 million guaranteed. A very solid contract when you consider how much Boye Mafe signed for. Now, Derek Hall, over the course of his career, has had 10 sacks. He had 8 last year, or 8 in 2024, 2 in 2025. So not the most productive, but has shown that he can be. In reference, Boye Mafe also just came off of a 2-sack season and got $20 million in the open market. So despite what you think of the lack of production, to get a player at $14 million when market value is clearly more than that has to be considered a win. And this way now, the Seahawks have at least a edge rusher locked up long term when they didn't. The only edge rusher they had locked up past this current season that's coming up was DeMarcus Lawrence, who, for those of you who are wondering, has been considering retirement for the last 2 seasons. Now, he is confirmed back this year. He was at OTAs, which have started for the Seahawks. Nothing's really going on, so it's not worth mentioning, but that is about the only noticeable thing, is that he is back. He did participate in OTAs, so he will play this year. I don't think he's going to play next year. Just a hunch. We'll see. But when you contemplate retirement for 2 years in a row, a third one might be a bit much. So yeah, Derek Hall getting a well-deserved, in my opinion. I still think he's better than what the sacks showed last year. So I do think this is a fine extension. Again, you are paying him significantly less than market value and what he would have gotten on the open market. So I'm completely all right with this move to re-sign him. Beyond that, there isn't really news for the Seahawks. However, we are not done talking about the NFL because we need to talk about some decisions that were made in the podcasting world. How do we start? Dallas comes on here a lot and complains about her quarterback being disrespected. And at the end of the day, he probably is. But he is still widely considered one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. I don't think that's very arguable. And most people do agree with that. I'm going to complain about my quarterback being disrespected for a minute. And then I'll get into my rankings. Because I did do some quarterback rankings. Just to kind of go through the process. See what I came up with. This all started with Mina Kimes on her podcast. And then for those of you that don't know who Mina Kimes is, she's a reporter for ESPN. She's really good at what she does. And she's also a Seahawk fan, which makes this worse. So very much worse. She recently did an episode.
Go ahead. I'll let you say the thing, and then I'm going to help you.
She recently did an episode with Ben Solak, who also works for ESPN, and is also pretty good as an analyst. I think does do some good work. I think we can all agree that some analysts do not focus enough on the whole NFL. It is really tough to know every team. It just kind of is what it is. But they did a podcast recently where they draft quarterbacks with a 3-year, outlook. So, would you want this quarterback for 3 years? For the next 3 years, do you want this quarterback as your guy? And I'll run you through their draft. Number 1 overall, they went with Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that's a hot take in any way. He's still the best quarterback in the league. Age could be a factor there, but I do still think, like,
based off what he's done,
it's hard to
that's not
argue it's
invalid.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's not invalid.
you could have done Allen, you could have done Jackson. Who cares? Second was Josh Allen. I think that's fine. The reason I want to say it was Ben Solak gave was Allen has not been hurt in his career. Lamar has. He would rather have the guy that has never been hurt, even if he does think Lamar is technically the better quarterback. And that's what he said.
It's not invalid.
And he's like, Lamar's, and he was also like, Lamar last year with his rushing did not leave me with a ton of confidence. Now, I do think, as you said, that was because of the injury. But if he does continue to get hurt and that rushing ability does go away, where are we at?
It's valid. It's valid concern. It's valid.
They then did take Lamar 3rd overall. So, I mean, like,
yeah,
1, 2, 3 makes sense. Number 4 was Joe Burrow. I have my opinions.
Okay.
We'll move on. Number 5 was Drake May. I think
we're going to talk about that if we're doing a quarterback rankings today. We're going to talk about that.
Number 5 was Drake May. I think for a 3-year outlook, that makes a ton of sense. Really good young quarterback. Now I'm going to kind of speed through these. 6 was Herbert. 7 was Prescott. 8 was Williams. 9 was Love. 10 was Daniels. 11 was Stafford. 12 was Stroud. 13 was Trevor Lawrence. 14 was Jared Goff. 15 was Brock Purdy. 16 was Fernando Mendoza. This is not right. Hold
on. A rookie who started?
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 16 was Mendoza. 17 was Hurts. 18 was Kyler Murray. And Sam Darnold was 19th overall.
Okay. That's disrespectful. This is disrespectful.
It gets better. Hold on. There's another podcast that went off of this one. Same parameters. Here's their draft. They went with Josh Allen, number 1.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, number 2. Drake May, number 3. Patrick Mahomes, 4. Burrow, 5. Stafford, 6. Love, 7. Herbert, 8. Prescott, 10. Prescott, 9. Lawrence, 10. Purdy, 11. Jaden Daniels, 12. Jared Goff, 13. Caleb Williams, 14. CJ Stroud, 15. Kyler Murray, 16. Sam Darnold, 17th. Jalen Hurts, 18th. So they moved him up two spots.
It's disrespectful.
All right. Third one we'll talk about. Chris Sims. Oh, and then I didn't say what podcast. It was Nate Tice, who is a writer for Yahoo Sports. Another guy that's pretty good, more draft focused, but not bad. Next one is Chris Sims, the former NFL quarterback and he's NBC. Had Darnold ranked 14th. He did have Murray behind him, Hurts behind him, Purdy behind him, and then I want to say in front of him was Lawrence, Prescott, Williams, and like your standard ones like Love, Herbert, Burrow, Mahomes, your standard ones in front of him.
I need to understand what the deal is with people in Justin Herbert. I need someone to explain it to me.
Okay.
I understand that's not what we're talking about right now, but I do need someone to explain it to me.
All right. Next. So, I've now named everything. Who in the fuck puts Kyler fucking Murray in front of Sam Darnold?
That's disrespectful.
One, they're the same fucking age. So you can't even come at me that Kyler Murray's younger. Kyler Murray is... Nope. Same age. Kyler Murray came out the year after Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold was a slightly younger prospect when he came out. So that's 1. 2, Kyler Murray was just fucking benched by one of the worst teams in football, and then was paid to not play there, and signed a 1-year deal to go battle J.J. McCarthy. 3, he's not a good quarterback.
Valid.
So who in the fuck puts him over Sam Darnold, who just won the Super Bowl?
I think the Kyler Murray thing, that's insane. That's insane. I don't know what film you're watching, right? Inherently, to me, to have anyone that has never won a playoff game ahead of the man that just won the Super Bowl is outrageous.
All right. The other thing I want to comment on is how is Mendoza ahead of him? He's never played a down of fucking NFL football, guys. I get it. If you think that maybe he will be better, I understand that take. I do. If you think Mendoza will be a better quarterback than Darnold in 3 years, that is a perfectly acceptable take to make, in my opinion. I don't think you can say that until he has played a down of NFL football.
No, you can't. No.
You can think it.
You can say he might be a better prospect than Darnold was. And if he is what we project him to be, then he will be better than Darnold. That's fair. But you can't know that. They are two different fucking sports.
Yes. So, we've given the context. Here is my rankings.
Hold on.
Same... Okay.
I want to do 2 things really fast. Actually, I'm going to do 1. We'll do 2 when it comes to that. 1, Mina Kimes, the last year that Lamar won MVP, by the way, had a phenomenal year rushing and throwing the ball. Mina Kimes is the one that said, I want my quarterback to be more quarterbacky. So, you've already lost me with the name, and then the insanity continued. So I get the frustration.
She's not a bad analyst.
No, I
do feel bad because she got hurt.
I don't always respect or agree with. I don't always agree with some of the takes she has,
and I don't agree on this one. All right, so my rankings with these same parameters. There's going to be one that a lot of people are going to disagree with, and that's fine. And we're going to do this back to front, just to get it over with. At the very back of the line, in 26 to 32, you have Aaron Rodgers at 32, Geno Smith, Tua, Justin Fields, and I'm just doing quarterbacks from last year. I'm not including rookies. Just want to make that perfectly clear. Just quarterbacks from last season. Justin Fields, Shedeur Sanders, J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix is my 26 through 32.
No problems.
My 25 through 21. I have Kyler Murray at 25, Bryce Young, Matt Stafford. Let me explain this one real quick. This is very low for Stafford. He's not going to play for 30 years.
Fair.
I'm making this ranking based off of how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. If he wins a Super Bowl in the next 2 years, then he goes in 11 through 15. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. And he's not going to play for much longer. So yes, this is very low. And
you said, the parameter is, who do you want for the next 3 years? Stafford is not going to play for 3 more years.
So I'm making that decision of he's probably not playing for the next 3 years. And how much does he actually have left? Because remember, last year, he almost didn't play because his back was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Do we trust him to have another season like that this year? I'd say yes, but that was the decision making I made there. Someone I'm probably a little lower on, and I'll admit that, I have CJ Stroud next. Probably could go up a little bit.
I don't think it's unfair.
But after that, I do think there's a bit of recency bias, but after that game against the Patriots in the playoffs, I was a little worried.
Other than his rookie year, the following 2 have vastly underperformed.
And I think
you can blame the offensive line, but vastly underperformed.
in hindsight, I would flip the guy I have ahead of him and him. I would flip him and Daniel Jones. Looking at it, I had Daniel Jones at 21, him at 22. Let's flip that. It'll be Daniel Jones at 22, CJ Stroud at 21. I do think Stroud, not coming off the injury, which Daniel Jones is, I think makes more sense. All right. In the next bucket of 16 through 20. At 20, I have Jackson Dart. Then I have Baker Mayfield, Tyler Shuck, Cam Ward, Trevor Lawrence. This was like my second years, and then guys that I think are good, but we haven't seen them actually be great.
Trevor Lawrence had a great year. Can he maintain this?
But he only had a great half a year.
Yeah.
He was not good in the beginning of the season.
Where do you go from here? So
Trevor Lawrence probably can move. Obviously, this is the bucket of people that I'm you can move up or down very easily. We'll kind of see how next year goes for you. The next bucket is 11 through 15. At 15, I have Jalen Hurts. At 14, I have Bo Nix. 13, Jared Goff. 12, Jordan Love. 11 is Brock Purdy.
I think that's accurate based off the 3-year parameter as well as just an overall quarterback ranking. No issues.
Hurts was very difficult. I was kind of thinking about moving him down, maybe moving up one of the other younger guys, but I was
no.
He is a Super Bowl MVP. I do think he gets the nod there. Bo Nix.
So is Eli Manning.
Settle down. Brock Purdy over Jordan Love has been one that I've seen a lot of people debating. I have Brock Purdy over him just because I think Brock Purdy is a more consistent quarterback. Jordan Love is definitely 100%. The more talented in terms of pure talent. The problem I have with Jordan Love is he's just inconsistent, and I know why he's inconsistent. His fadeaway jump pass is just, it pisses me off.
It's not good.
So that was the 11 through 15 bucket. The 6 through 10 bucket. I have Sam Darnold at 10. So I have him as a top 10 quarterback. He and Purdy, for me, were in the same range, in my opinion, of you kind of can flip the two. I'd accept 10 and 11 for either one of them type thing. Really. I gave it to Darnold because he actually won the Super Bowl, whereas Purdy didn't, pretty much. That was
valid.
That was the separator for me. Next, I have Caleb Williams because of the 3-year timeline. We saw so many good steps forward for him, and if Ben Johnson can get the best, out of him, I do think it makes sense. I think I have Herbert here at 8. And I agree that it's tough to have him as an elite quarterback when he hasn't won a playoff game.
He hasn't won anything ever.
I do want to counter that because this was one of his best career years with one of the worst teams he has had around him in his career. That offensive line was one of the worst abominations to ever hit the football field I have ever seen. I'm going to give him one more season with an actual offensive line because that's what they're going to have this year. An actual offensive line and Josh McDaniels. If you can't get it together with those two things, you're going down to the Trevor Lawrence ranking.
Here's my problem with Herbert. There is talent. I'm not saying there isn't. There's clear talent. When does he stop getting every benefit of the doubt? It's the coach, it's the system, it's the line, it's this, that. It's never him. At some point, what we see is what we get. And there's talent, but it isn't good enough.
Again?
It's not good enough to win an MVP, or even contend for an MVP.
I would agree.
And it's not good enough to win a fucking playoff game.
I would agree if it wasn't for the fact that, again, if you take all things into consideration, this was an incredible season by him when you look at what he had to deal with. if his season was even just a slightly worse year, I think I would have had him further down the list. But he is still one of the younger quarterbacks in the league and has one of the best arm talents in the league, and he's mobile enough. I'm going to give him one more season.
At that logic, you have him too low because the at least one you have above him is outrageous. I think. If we're talking a 3-year plan,
I would still have him above
that
him.
man's not going to be healthy for 3 years.
See, I don't disagree. I disagree.
Like Burrow, I think to take Burrow over the course of 3 years is your biggest risk.
It's the biggest risk, but the problem is if he is healthy through those 3 years, he's arguably a top 3 quarterback. Like, he's one of the best in terms of pure pocket passing in the league, period. Like, one of the most accurate. Again, I don't disagree with the injuries. At some point, it is a trend. He's another one.
We're there.
One more year. If you can't stay healthy this year, when again, they have improved the offensive line, and they have improved relatively around him in terms of the offensive line, not necessarily the defense, but at least the offensive line is a little better. Those two, I will admit, can absolutely get shot down this list based on next season. But for now, they will stay in the top 10. At 6, I have Dak Prescott. And the only reason he's not higher is because he is over the age of 30 and has had some significant injuries in his career. But he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And I don't think he gets the respect he deserves.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then the 1 through 5, no real surprises. I have Jaden Daniels at 5. Injuries
There's
are
a
starting.
talent and a youth.
Their
Yeah.
injuries are starting to get a little concerning. We're in the Burrow
That's
conversation.
why I agree with him behind Drake May.
And then yes,
I think you're looking at similar situations. You're looking at really young, really talented, but Jaden Daniels' health has already been an issue. Drake May, not so much.
And then I have Drake May at 4, Lamar Jackson at 3, Allen at 2, Mahomes at 1. The reason I put Lamar there is very similar to where I was at earlier. I think that this injury was more of a fluke. But we kind of saw what it looks like when Lamar cannot be the athletic freak that he is. And it was a worse season. Like, it just is a fact.
Yeah.
It does make me a little more nervous with his age that if he regresses in any way physically, that he might not be the same quarterback he was when he was winning MVPs. We saw the very similar thing happen with Russell Wilson. Now, I will admit, there's a significantly different style to those two, but when Russell Wilson lost his ability to escape pressure using his legs, he became a significantly worse quarterback. I think Lamar is at a better starting point, but I do think we did see enough regression last year without the ability to use his legs to leave me a little bit more concerned than I have with Josh Allen, who, quite frankly, I don't think the man can get hurt. Like,
that's fair.
Some of the shots he takes, if he hasn't been hurt at this point in his career, I don't know if it's going to happen.
That's not invalid.
That is the only reason I have Allen ahead of him.
I think this is a valid take. Here's the couple of things I'm going to comment on.
Go for it.
One, this is something I'm hoping will be a positive with Deacon Doyle. Lamar is still physically capable of running, but if we can build up that passing better, then as the athleticism wears down, because it will naturally with age, it won't be as big of an issue. Yes, I do think he still relies on that running, that threat of it. I think that's real, but I hope we can improve the passing more so that when it's a real problem, it's not there.
Yes.
2. Here's my problem with rankings overall.
I don't like
I
them
do
either.
not give a fuck if you have Allen ahead of Lamar. I do not care. The statement I am bothered by is X is unequivocally the second best quarterback in the league. Whether you have Allen or Lamar's name in that sentence, you're wrong.
Yes, and I wasn't going to say that.
No, I know. You can prefer Allen. I prefer Lamar, right? I'm a Ravens fan. I prefer Lamar.
And that's fine.
To say one is significantly better than the other is outrageous.
Is a lie.
Not one statistical fact to prove that statement. Not one. I don't want to hear about the fucking playoffs. Which one of them has made a Super Bowl? Oh, that's right. No one. And Allen can't even use the Mahomes argument anymore, so shut up. Lamar's head coach, both their head coaches just got fired. Like, I don't want to hear about the playoffs. There is not one regular season statistic to prove either one is significantly better than the other. I keep hearing, like, some people on Allen's side are like, well, his highlight reels. Bitch, I don't know if you've seen Lamar's highlight reel, but I suggest you watch it.
Also, if you're judging a player off of highlight reels, that's just not...
Mahomes shouldn't be first. I don't know if you've ever watched his highlight reel. It's actually kind of boring.
Yeah.
At
that point, it's Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in the league.
Like, yes, I have Lamar second in my rankings. Do I understand your take of, we're talking a 3-year timeline where there have been injury concerns, and if the athleticism falls off, what is left? Those are valid things. Not bothered by that. The one that bothers me is Allen is unequivocally the second best quarterback in the league. It's bullshit. I am also just as bothered, by the way, if you look at me and go, Lamar Jackson is unequivocally the second best quarterback in the league, I want to know why you think that. I need a stat for you to explain why you think that.
Because there just isn't one.
There isn't one.
Is it doesn't matter who you put second. The other one is third. Like,
I think he should be. There are people that don't have him third, and that's outrageous.
But either way,
But I have no problem with this ranking. I think when, again, you're talking the parameters you've set, I think this is valid.
And I did also think I forgot to mention one of the other parameters was contract is not factored in. So,
okay, because I was going to say that.
If contract was factored in,
Allen does have a new contract.
If contracts were factored in, then Jaden Daniels and Drake May would be number one. Would be 1 and 2 because they're playing on rookie deals.
A rookie contract.
Shuck, Ward, and Dart would be higher than Hurts and Love and Goff. Contracts were not taken into account. It is, for example, you're taking each of these players in a neutral system, 3 years. Like, they all have the same contract. Who do you want?
That's fair.
That was the point of the exercise. Just wanted to clarify that before we got too far. So yes, the reason this was started was what we said at the top. Sam Darnold was completely disrespected in 2 of the 3 of them. The 14th, putting him at 14th, I can at least understand. At the end of the day, if you put him anywhere between 9 and 15, I get it. I can understand that. I think he's at the top end of that range. But if you had him at 15 and you could give me the argument that you don't think his turnovers are going to go away and that you just think that's who he is, then sure, I can see him at 15. I'm saying this because we just watched him through the entire playoffs and Week 18 not throw a single interception and not turn the ball over once. First time in NFL history a team has done that. Because the Seahawks did that. So, I'm going to go off of that because we have seen it. We'll see what happens. But yes, I think that is where this started.
No, that's disrespectful. To have him behind Kyler Murray and Mendoza,
is wild.
I could maybe understand the Mendoza argument of, I think if you're taking into the thought of the prospect he is and the best version that he could be over the next 3 years, I would take over Darnold. The Kyler Murray one is insane.
Like,
it's insane.
I don't get it. Okay? Like, how do you think that? What part of this last season and the last few seasons have you seen that he is capable of doing anything Sam Darnold just did?
Not even, since that first season, he won a single playoff game. Since then, it's been shit.
Like,
It's been shit.
Again, he was benched for Jacoby Brissett. And
he is battling J.J. McCarthy. He is battling, right? No one has said Kyler Murray has the job. The worst quarterback we saw last year.
And he's being paid to not play for the Cardinals, who are likely going to be the worst team in the NFL this year.
100%.
Who are also in a contract battle with Jacoby Brissett.
That's outrageous.
Guys,
right, that's outrageous.
Jacoby Brissett is on a holdout with the Cardinals. For reference, one team in the NFC West just traded for Myles Garrett. Another team in the NFC West is in a contract dispute with Jacoby Brissett. And the other two teams in the NFC West are the Seahawks, who just won the Super Bowl, and the 49ers, who will never die. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Can I have all the injuries in the world, still the third best team in the league last year? Like, go fuck yourself. So yeah, I don't get that one. That one's the one that pissed me off. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't gonna do this. And then I saw that, and I was like, alright.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Because I'm with you. I don't really like rankings. I do them because I do think it is a fun exercise. And I do think going forward, this is probably how I would do it. I might do another one once we know where every starting quarterback is around the league. Just kind of have fun, rank the quarterbacks going into the season. But yeah, once I saw that two people had Kyler Murray over Sam Darnold, I about lost my fucking mind.
Yeah, that's outrageous. That's outrageous.
All that tells me is that no matter what Darnold does in his career, you will never see anything but Jet Sam Darnold.
Which is unrealistic, no longer the situation, and so unfair.
Like, it is unfair to any player. Like, are we going to look at Peyton Manning for his rookie season? No. You know why we don't look at Peyton Manning for his rookie season? Because he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, won 2 Super Bowls, was a multiple MVP.
Yeah. Like,
Sam Darnold sucked in his first couple of years in the league, but he also played for the Jets.
Yeah, he played for terrible teams. He just won a fucking Super Bowl.
I don't think you can discount the fact that he's now won in back-to-back seasons 14 games. He is the first quarterback to do that with 2 different teams, and is like the third quarterback all time to do it. I think with Favre and I think it was Brady. I know the last one to do it was Brady. Like,
yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
What are we talking about? At the end of the day, he has to be at least in your top 15. And has to at least be better than Kyler fucking Murray. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where I sit on that one.
No, that's fair. It's valid. Very disrespectful.
So yeah. There's that. But beyond that, that was pretty much it.
Alrighty. Well, I do believe that does it for the NFL. Any other random sports?
I don't have any.
Okay. I screwed up
Oh
2 weeks ago, so I do have one. I forgot that the PWHL, which is
no.
Women's National Hockey League, Professional Hockey League, um, had their finals.
Oh,
And the Montreal Victoria won, beating the Ottawa Charge 3-1 in their first Walter Cup win.
so it's a best of 5 series?
It is a best of 5.
Interesting. Did not know
And
that.
they played 4 games. Montreal handedly had that series. It was a good series.
Nice.
If you're interested in women's hockey, it was a lot of fun. I think we are seeing the sport growing. I do believe 2 cities are getting new teams this next year.
I do believe that's correct.
So,
And I will admit,
congratulations to them,
the
and congratulations to Montreal for finally getting.
yeah, the PWHL does a pretty good job, though. I will admit, of doing where they travel around to different states. Anyways,
Yes.
even if they don't have a team there. For example, I know that Denver in Colorado doesn't have a team yet. They'll get one eventually. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
They play a couple of games a year in Denver.
So, yeah,
It's a
it
thing.
it was a great series. It was a fun series. This was the first season that I actively watched it. Um, it's very different than men's hockey. They're very different sports.
Yes.
But it was a fun experience. I will probably continue to follow it. And yeah, congratulations to Montreal. And
Congrats.
I apologize for being a couple weeks late. I did forget about this one.
You're forgiven.
That's good.
I don't have any random sports news. So I think that does it for us this week. Am I correct?
Okay.
All right. So make sure like, subscribe, comment, let us know if there's anything else you want to talk about. Obviously, with the World Cup coming up, that is going to dominate discussion. As I'm a huge soccer fan, Dallas might get into it just for this event. Only happens
I
like
usually
every.
watch the World Cup.
So really exciting. That starts. I literally just had it up.
Great. We will make sure to talk about the World Cup plenty, especially with every other sport being on vacation.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that's the case. Some years,
Yeah.
the World Cup is happening simultaneously as other sports. Like last World Cup was actually in the winter because of where it was played. Um, so we had basketball going on, we had hockey going on. It kind of created this mess of times and games, and you just couldn't kind of focus on it as you should. But this year, you're not going to have hockey. You're not going to have basketball for the most part. There will be a little overlap, but the real important games for the World Cup will happen down the line without other sports. Football won't have started yet, so it should be great. Um, it does start Thursday, June 11th, is the first game. Um, Mexico gets the honors as one of the host nations. For those who don't know, no matter what, a host nation technically starts the World Cup. Because there's 3 of them, I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. Like, which one of the 3 gets to open up the World Cup? It is going to be Mexico.
Nice.
I'm not really sure how they came to that decision. I don't really care how they did. It just had to be one of the 3.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Makes sense.
So yeah, Thursday, June 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern is the first game of the World Cup. So should be awesome. Maybe we'll kind of go over a quick rundown next week before it of like what to expect, what teams are good, who you can kind of who like the underdogs are, who some fun ones to cheer for if you don't know. and then who are like the favorites are and some of the best players at it. That could be kind of fun to do next week. So let us know in the comments if you want to see that. I'd be happy to kind of take that over and do that. Could be kind of fun. I do know soccer is not the most popular sport.
You got my vote. Let's do it.
All right, sounds good. Let us know if you don't want to see it. I guess then we won't do it. But so yeah, let us know anything else. Any questions? Happy to answer. But beyond that, let us know your thoughts on the Myles Garrett trade. Be really interested to hear from you guys on that one. How you feel about it. If you think that makes the Rams unstoppable, or if you do think, if you're like Dallas, there are questions on whether Myles Garrett can perform at the same level that he was with the Browns. Be interesting to hear that from you guys. But with all that being said, this has been Flocksmith Sports Podcast. I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
Thank you.